Okay, so I'm going to be teaching you how to bake chocolate chip cookies from scratch. So, the first thing that you want to do is make sure you have all your ingredients and materials. So, first thing you need is all-purpose flour. You're going to need 2.5 cups of this. Make sure it's all-purpose flour. Then, you're going to need baking soda. You're going to need a teaspoon of this, so make sure you have some. Then, you're going to need a teaspoon of salt. Then you're going to need 2 whole sticks of butter. I use unsalted butter because you're already adding salt, so you don't need all the extra salt. Then you're going to need granulated white sugar. And you're going to need 1/2 cup of that. And then brown sugar, I use light brown sugar. You're going to need 1 cup of the brown sugar. Then you need just a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 large eggs, I use brown, and 2 cups of chocolate chips. I'm using the semi-sweet morsels from Nestle Toll House. This is optional, but you can add chopped nuts if you want. I'm not gonna do that because I don't like those. But if you don't use them, you have to add an extra tablespoon of flour. So make sure you know that. So that's what you need for ingredients. You're gonna need a large bowl. This bowl goes with the electric mixer, which is what I'm gonna be using to mix it, but you don't need an electric one. And then a small bowl, just a regular bowl is fine. And then you're gonna need your measuring cups. I already said what amounts you're gonna need for each ingredient, so make sure you have what you need to measure those and some measuring spoons. And then I use this measuring cup to soften the butter, which I'll be doing in a minute. And then last, you're gonna need a pan, a baking sheet. I believe this is 9 by 13, but whatever size you have, doesn't matter. So, and then the electric mixer, which is what I'm gonna use to mix it. So yeah, that's everything you need. Okay, so the first thing you wanna do is get your 2 sticks of unsalted butter, or regular butter, doesn't matter. You just wanna unwrap them. And I put them just into this little measuring cup. Drop them in there. And then you're gonna wanna take this and put it in the microwave for 20 seconds. So I'm gonna show you it when it's all done. This is about what the butter should look like softened. When it's softened, you don't want it to be completely melted because that's just not the consistency that it should have. But it should feel warmer and softer to the touch and just be a lot easier to mix. So now you wanna grab your smaller bowl, not your bigger bowl, and you're gonna need your flour, your baking soda, and your salt. So you wanna add your 2.5 cups of flour. So I added the rest off camera just to save time, but now you want to do a teaspoon of salt. It's not quite a teaspoon. And then a teaspoon of baking soda. And then once that's done, you want to just mix it all together. I'm just gonna use this regular whisk.
Not the electric one. And just make sure it's all mixed together. It's mostly flour, but you just want to mix in the salt and the baking soda. You also want to make sure that if you didn't add the nuts, you want to add an extra tablespoon of flour.
Okay, so I put the small bowl to the side. Now you want to get your large bowl. This bowl is the one that goes with the electric mixer, but before you put it on, you want to add your half a cup of sugar, 1 cup of brown sugar. I just took it out of the bag so it's easier to get out. And then your softened butter from before and your vanilla extract. So I'm going to start with your half cup of sugar, white sugar. And just add that in there. And then just making sure that was a half cup. And then your 1 cup, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Your 1 cup of brown sugar. Okay, I made a bit of a mess. Okay. So you want to make sure that the sugar is packed in tightly to your cup. This is not really full. This is the hard part because the brown sugar is very packed. So I'm gonna add my cup in there. Then you want to add your butter. And your teaspoon of vanilla. And now you want to move your bowl over to your mixer. Twist that in tightly. Close it up. Actually, I'm gonna just quickly push that butter down so it's not sticking up. Close the mixer, make sure it's locked in place, and then start mixing it. Okay, so I finished mixing it off camera. It looks a little stuck together right now, but that's okay. Just make sure it's definitely thoroughly mixed. You might have to scrape it out of the mixer part a little bit with like another spoon, but it should get to the point you want it to. So now, one at a time, you want to take your large eggs. You're gonna need 2 of those. You want to put them into the mixer. So I'm just gonna crack that into there and then start mixing it. So you want to make sure that after you add the egg, it's thoroughly mixed. So I just did that. And now you want to get your second egg and crack that in there too. And then do the same thing. So once both eggs are added in and mixed thoroughly, you want to grab your small bowl with like the flour mixture, and little by little you want to add it to the bigger bowl. So I'm just going to add just a very small amount at first and start mixing it in. And you can mix it in while it's mixing too. speed up the process a little bit. But you just want to add it in every few seconds. So I still have a full bowl here, so I'm gonna come back once I've added all of the bowl to it. So now it's all mixed together. You want to make sure that you're not over mixing it with the flour in there, because it'll take too much air out of the cookies and make them flat. So you are done mixing them. So the last thing you need to mix in is your chocolate chips. So you don't really have to do it in the mixer. It might be easier just to use a regular mix, like a whisk. But I'm gonna just do it in the bowl. So you want 2 cups of chocolate chips. So chocolate chips. Okay. You want 2 cups of chocolate chips. I'm not actually gonna measure it. You can if you want it to be more accurate. I'm not gonna use the whole bag. I'm gonna use a little bit more than half of the bag. But so there's about this much left of the bag after I did that. So now I'm gonna make sure it's locked and then start mixing it in the bowl. Okay, so then once your dough is completely combined, I make sure that I scrape it off of the whisk. So now it's all done, and you want to put it in the fridge for 30 minutes. Okay, so while the cookie dough is in the fridge, I want to preheat my oven to 375 degrees. So for my oven, I want to click bake, and then I want to up it, and then click start. So this will preheat it. So it's been about 30 minutes, so I'm gonna grab the dough out of the fridge, put it right here, and now with my baking sheet, I wanna start rolling up the cookie dough into little balls and put them on here. This is about the size that you want one of your cookie dough balls to be. To roll it up, you wanna put it in between your palms and just roll it together until it's... Okay, so now I have not 12 cookies on here. So now my oven still hasn't finished preheating yet. So once that's done, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna put it in the oven for 10 minutes. So I put them in, and now I wanna set a timer on here, click timer, and then set it for 10 minutes, and then click start. So I have a lot of excess dough, so once those come out, I'm gonna repeat that as many times as I have to. So at 5 minutes, I like to take the cookies out and flip them around, just because ovens sometimes have hot and cold spots, so they might not be getting evenly cooked normally. So just flip it around, put a pot holder on, close it, and just let it keep going. So the timer just went off, so now I'm gonna open up the oven, grab my pot holder again, and take these out. So they look to be done. They just look like they need to sit for a few minutes. So you want to let them sit for 5 minutes and then see how they look afterwards. So yeah, once the 5 minutes are up, your cookies are ready to be eaten. And you just made a batch of chocolate chip cookies from scratch. Enjoy!